did you start therapy after your exit?
I did a lot of therapy in my 20s and 30s, in my early 30s. I then took some time off, and then I spent my entire 40s preparing for and delaying starting therapy again. And so I had a decade of saying to myself, I'm going to start. I had a friend who was in psychoanalysis, and he kept saying, Keith, psychoanalysis is an absolute competitive advantage. He was a fellow entrepreneur, mentor of mine. He said it's an absolute competitive advantage. It's like having, it's like going to the Olympics to try to compete in a sport and not having a coach. Like, how could you possibly even imagine doing that? We all need it. We all need that. And so I had CEO coaches. I had that sort of thing, but I didn't have I didn't go to analysis, during that period of time. I didn't go to talk therapy. Now I'm happy to report that my procrastination streak is over. And so I started that about a year and a half ago, and that has been life-changing. And and what's interesting about it is, and I don't know what caused this shift exactly, but it shifted for me. When I remember going to therapy in my early 30s, and about an hour or two before my therapy session, my brain would automatically start thinking about all the things I could do to get out of this therapy session. What can I do to avoid it? What sort of tasks can I pile on myself to feel like I'm just too busy? There's no way I can invest this time in myself. All of those things would start to come up, and I would, probably half the time bail. And now I view when I go to my analyst twice a week, I view it like how I hear oftentimes some people talk about going and getting a mani or pedi. It's like, it's a moment of pampering. I get to get a little massage. I get to get treated, et cetera. It's like, I get to go and sit and somebody who is an expert, who went to Columbia gets to sit and listen to me for 45 minutes drone on about all my shit. Like, how fucking great is that? And so I just view it as a moment where I get to go to the brain spa and enjoy some downtime for Keith. And so that shift in mentality has made it very different. Been going for a year and a half. I've never missed one appointment. And so I enjoy that process now, and it's not like eating broccoli. It's a really enjoyable process for me.
So besides enjoyment, what else did you get out of it?
I've learned some shit about myself. And I think they say that the thing about psychoanalysis is that, in particular, as a form of talk therapy, it's very Freudian, is that it's not necessarily about, discovering things about yourself or anything like that. Really, at the heart of it, it's about being okay with what you will find out about yourself. And that, it took me a while to kind of internalize that. I think I still am probably internalizing it, but as I started to learn stuff about myself, probably a year and a half ago, I would have been a little bit freaked out. And as I've, kind of gone through this process, and it's been a very good, healthy process for me. I've learned a lot of stuff about myself, a lot of things that I didn't think actually existed, but actually do. And I've generally been okay with those things as I've uncovered them along the way. And that's been a real game changer for me.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So it's self-knowledge that you get.
Self-knowledge, and I think, and why do I do this? Why do I do this thing? Why does this thing keep happening to me? That's probably a better example of it. I think until we fully understand our unconscious self, we think that destiny probably has a lot more to do with our life than maybe it really does. And in retrospect, some of the things that I would have chalked up to destiny or bad luck were probably me self-sabotaging, and me just, like my unconscious, frankly, fucking with my conscious self, and able to better understand those things about yourself, so that you can walk around in this, in this wonderful meat sack that we all get, that we can say, okay, I actually have a little bit better understanding of what's going on here. I don't fully grok it all, but I'm getting better, and I'm starting to understand it a little bit better. And I feel like that is a progress that for me has been really, really valuable.